And I was like, I'm dancing with Dino Morea. What the hell? The spam I've sent on my friends group saying all of you are the worst. I'm the best. I have danced with Dino Morea. Bye. Comics will tell you across the board that we almost only get hate. In fact, the moment we start getting hate on our reels, we're like, oh, it's going viral. If a single person has set out to date someone during lockdown, just imagine my guts. Every day I wake up and I'm like, आज मैं खुद की drama नहीं बनूंगी. By the end of it, I have 5 dramatic moments. I definitely think it's a power statement. I definitely think it's a risk that has paid off. My struggles with my body weight, or more than struggles with body weight, my love for myself is a thought that maybe is relatable.
So, Sumukhi, looking at the booking site, I realized that like almost all the seats are gone for Grand Theatre. Your show.
Oh,
Yeah.
आपके मुंह में घी चक्कर and or whatever is comfortable for your hormones.
But also, does it feel like a power statement in the sense like female comedians, stand-up comics have come of age, what's your thought on that?
Are you saying, is it like a power statement of the venue and the scale of the
No,
show?
your power of
Oh,
statement by an artist that a 2000 seater and the prices are not also very, the ticket prices are
yeah,
not
it's
cheap.
quite
They're gone
yes, yeah.
almost. Yeah.
I definitely think it's a power statement. I definitely think it's a risk that has paid off, a risk that I think NMACC, uh, DCA, and me, all three of us have come together and be like, okay, let's put our thoughts in it, let's put our money in it, let's make it happen. So I genuinely think, which is very interesting, because when we started the tour of the show, the aim was that, oh, we could close it at NMACC, and then NMACC happened on its own. So it's super organic and super perfect that this is the closing time of the show in Mumbai, the last show. Is it a power statement? 100%, because when you sell tickets, see, push comes to shove, talent of course is very important and it'll last you forever, but your the intent of audience buying your ticket and attending your show is the ultimate validation, right?
Uh, in one of your earlier interviews, you had mentioned that people should stop questioning whether women are funny. You know,
Yeah. I mean, it's a very, yeah, it's a very now, they are, how can women not be funny? Please see your mother. Your mothers are constantly funny. So, in fact, everyone derives their funniest bone and dramatic bone from their mothers. And I mean, I'm a class case in point. My mom is hilarious and my father's witty, and I think I get that from him. But the histrionics and just the general conflict and the, jokes of it is also, just look around you. The first person who's funny to you is your mother.
uh, Smokey, like you mentioned wit and you mentioned having a funny bone, and then
Yeah.
your sketches, your content always has something more, a social messaging, like say, for the lack of better word, I'm saying social messaging, like you are talking about body positivity, you are talking about dating life, the women in the present world, how they are navigating this uh,
Correct.
current contemporary social life. So how do you balance all these things? Because
I don't think I intentionally think that, okay, this is the messaging that I want to do. What I try to do is be as honest to the story that I'm narrating as possible and the feeling of it. Like there is, see, push comes to shove, why is there a relatability? Is because at the core of it, that premise or that thought relates with you. Like my struggles of dating would be something that I'll be like, oh my God, I'm going through the same thing. Or my struggles with my body weight, or more than struggles with body weight, my love for myself is a thought that maybe is relatable. So but if you simulate it saying that आज मैं इसके बारे में बात करूंगी, वो तब काम नहीं करता, because I think audience is very smart. They see through something that you're simulating, but उन्हें अच्छा लगता है जब आप सच बोल रहे हो और या अपनी सच्चाई बता रहे हो, तो उन्हें अच्छा लगता है वो. I feel so.
Mhm. Uh, can you take us through a little bit about how did you develop hormonal, which now has become hormonal?
I mean, it's the same feeling eventually. But how I developed it, honestly, I started developing it during the pandemic. I mean, that was the first ever thought, like the germ of it. I did a Zoom show at that time. And I was like, okay, cool, because I'd just finished my next solo, previous solo. I said, okay, let me start writing it. Let me see what the thought is. And stories sort of came together. But during the pandemic and post that, the whole visit to the gynecologist, or just the, especially I wanted to date during pandemic. During pandemic, married people are not dating each other. I can't believe a single person has set out to date someone during lockdown. Just imagine my guts. So really, I think I really was the funny of my own show. And I was like, okay, this needs to be put out. And also that, pandemic was the time you sort of take assessment of it, take, and everyone took stock, right? कि क्या करना है अभी, आगे क्या है, where do you stand? And I think in my health journey, that was really important, because more than losing weight, I just didn't think I should, that I think my body image was so skewed in my head. So I genuinely worked on that as much as I can. So all of these elements came together. I'm like, oh, this is the show I want to do. So I feel like life plus lots of open mics put together is the solo that's going to be on 7th June.
How much do you mind your personal life or tech material?
I only mind my personal life. Like you do not know the chaos that I am, and you do not know the just the drama that I am to myself. Every day I wake up and I'm like, आज मैं खुद की drama नहीं बनूंगी. By the end of it, I have 5 dramatic moments. So I don't know. ये therapy के साथ भी नहीं जा रहा है हल्का, तो फिर I don't know how it's going to work out. So I mind only my personal stories. Also, I think it's better to do personal stories because I think audience finds it, they'd rather not. मैंने बोला आप लोग ऐसे करते हो, that goes way like हम ऐसे नहीं करते, but I'm like मैं ऐसा करती हूँ, they're like हाँ शायद मैं भी ऐसा करती हूँ. So the openness to accept the flaw is more when the person in front is taking the blame on themselves.
So what is the feeling like? You have done big shows in Bangalore, you have done big shows in Calcutta. What is the feeling when you're standing in front of such a huge crowd and performing? Like,
it
what
it
goes in
is
your mind?
honestly, Alga, it's too surreal because आई नो दैट सब लोग कर, आई एम श्योर मेल कॉमिक्स तो बहुत सारे कर रहे हैं, वो तो हमसे ज्यादा कर रहे हैं, बट to taste taste the success or taste the feeling of performing for a big room that is assembled to hear you speak is such a boost and such a encouragement for you to experiment and perform better. I think from the time I remember last year, it was because all of us constantly do 200, 300 seaters. And I remember going, why don't I just try 1000? I mean, क्या हो जाएगा, नहीं भरेंगे ना तो कैंसिल कर देंगे, मेरे पॉकेट से पैसे चले जाएंगे. And I chose Bangalore because I know that Bangalore I thought would be the best place to sell 1000 out. And we sold 2000. We sold 2000. After that, we sold 500 more. And before that, we sold 1000 more. So I'm like, okay. So I believe that performing for a big room has given me a risk appetite, which an artist needs sometimes. We need to take risks so that we can sometimes get the desired, result.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. But do you think also you have over the years also built now a brand or a name, like, like I'm sure Bangalore must have been also very, they must have loved you also from Puspavati, because I
Yeah,
still,
yeah, they did. Yes, that's true. That's
yeah,
true.
because I
I
still
truly
see the
am the
comments.
Pushpavali of Bangalore for sure. That's who I am.
Yeah. How do you react to these comments? Because I saw somebody writing that you don't have to play secretary in the royal, you play Puspavati.
How sweet is that? I mean, I genuinely enjoyed performing in Royals as well. I mean, I was a last minute addition and they gave me the free reign to improv and to do my thing. I genuinely enjoyed it. And to respond to what they say, why not more Pushpavali? People need to cast me also, Alka. How much will I write for myself? So I think I am genuinely working towards the writing of myself. And I think now maybe through this interview I can give an appeal out saying that guys please cast me more. मैं तो बहुत नौटंकी हूँ तो मैं तो कर लूंगी acting. So it really feels validated that something that I created, something that I wrote with my writers and something that I acted in left a mark where people are still part of, now it's no longer an audience, it's a community, it's a community of women who really expect me to do well in their eyes, and that is great. I mean, that's how amazing is that, that they're all of them are my didis now. They're like, ye nahi karna hai, ye karna hai. That's amazing. That's the plan.
Mhm. But how collaborative it becomes when you are working with other writers, directors, like say.
I mean, collaboration is the key, especially with writing. Of course, people flourish a lot while writing alone, but there are writers who, especially comedy, I feel is most fun when there is someone to riff with or someone to talk to.
Hmm.
And that was the aim for with Motormouth, where I know it's a long dream. It's my big dream. It's my 20-year-old dream where Motormouth will be the hub of stories and shows that get developed and get made. And maybe comedy may not be something that people are easily, commissioning now.
Hmm.
Not a lot of comedies, but I think it's impossible, right? Everybody wants a laugh, so comedy show ke bina kaise chalega? So collaboration is absolutely key, especially with comedy writing and general other writing too. I mean, honest writing for a director who's clear in their approach, it's the golden ticket. Like,
Hmm.
for example, writing dialogues for Control or the next feature with Mr. Motwane. That was my dream, because he's a fabulous director. He's an insanely talented writer. So to have written for him, to have gotten feedback, to have learned from that, I learn because I'm not someone who's been trained in screenplay writing.
Hmm.
I, in fact, am training on the job, and the biggest training for me or masterclass was working with Mr. Motwane. Like, I think I've learned the most, and I'll keep learning. I'll
Did
chase him. I'll be like, I want more.
did Vikramaditya give you any brief before Control?
Uh, there was no brief or something, but I know that when I first got the call from him saying that, hey, listen, will you write dialogues for Control? I was like, no, I'm actually writing something else, because I panicked. Can I tell you, that moment is what I was waiting for, that I'll get that call from him. And मैं इतनी panic कर गई कि तब I'm like, नहीं 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 मेरे को नहीं चाहिए. Then I took a minute. I was like, sorry. That's not the actual response I want to work. So that was, but he did ask for a sample scene. Like, हम लोगों ने story jam किया. We all went for a writer's retreat. And I got a chance to work with Avinash, who's also the story writer of Control, who is such a good collaborator. So that's the thing. जब मैंने उनके लिए scene लिखा कि आप ये देखिए और इसको बताइए कि does this work for you? It didn't seem like a test or an exam. It seemed like I'm going to collaborate. Like, it seemed like they were really treating me with a lot of respect, and they were genuinely excited about what I could possibly bring to the table.
Mhm.
So the brief, more than the brief, it was the environment that he created. There is no judgment there. Like, I could give my worst ideas, but I would never be judged. So I can keep giving as many ideas as possible, and that's a great space to be in.
You have answered this question earlier, but I'm asking again. How do you juggle so many jobs? Actor, writing, then stand-up comic.
This what is that? This is the dream. I mean, the fact that I can do all of this is what I wanted to do, I think, forever. And genuinely, acting, writing, which is something, as I have mentioned, that I believe that for me to be one good artist, I have to be many roles.
Hmm.
Like, I think I have to be many things to be one good comic. I have to be many things to be one good actor. Whatever I learn from everything, I try and put it in the skill that I am putting forward, at this moment. Like,
Hmm.
that's the show that we're going to do on 7th June. Of course, it has everything to do with stand-up comedy and the writing, but it has also got to do with what emotional depth I've learned from acting, what logic I have learned from writing, what discipline I've learned from writing. Actually, because I'm a very artist person, but writing has made me very disciplined to be like, no, you have to get this done. So I would say the reason why I do all of this is to be one good artist.
Mhm. And you have expressed your admiration for Tina Fey. Yes.
Yes.
And she does a very different kind of role in Four Seasons. Any thoughts?
Yeah, yeah, and I liked it, which is such a cool thing, right? Because comedy actors have such range, especially like you see Jim Carrey, right? He's not just a comedian; he is so many different things. Or you see a Robin Williams, again, a fabulous stage performer, but excellent actor, like beyond beautiful. And that's the dream, or that's the goal. If I could be that, oh, I have chills already. So that's the dream or the hope.
Uh, uh, I I believe that currently the this scene is very democratized. Like there are stand-up comedians, there are influencers, there are actors. Everybody's kind of trying to create content or trying to entertain. So what
Correct.
is your thought with Motormouth, and how do you how would you sum up this current scenario?
Uh, I think since there is availability of expression, everyone wants to do that, and I think it should be the case because I think correctly what you said. There is a democratization of art and there is a democratization of expression, which only makes it more exciting for artists to innovate. Like we can no longer be stuck in a rut. Just because I'm a stand-up comedian does not mean that I could assume that I'm better than some other profession. I was like, no, every day you wake up and someone has moved ahead in the skill or in the art of it by performing it or practicing it again and again. So complacency is no longer there. You have to practice your art. वो रियाज करना ही पड़ेगा आपको अगर आपको आपकी कला बाहर दिखानी है तो. So I take it as the democratization has made sure that we practice our skill more, we learn more, we invest more in skill building and not just repeat something to impress you just because you like that trick. Because the reason why hopefully you like me as an artist is because you're like, oh, you saw Pushpa Wali, but you're like, oh, she also had fun at Royals. Oh, now she's doing stand up also. So, as since so much is available, if I can do these things with as much utmost honesty and the to the maximum of my talent, it only impresses you more and it only makes me want to do it more. So I think that's what's happened with democratization, that people are practicing more and people are doing more.
I think currently both love and hate are driving the numbers and your reach. What is your, because Royal got both.
It's okay. I mean, fine. It's that goes without saying, right? Like, which only shows that the amount of number of people that Royals has reached, and God knows, I got my thanks to Royals, I got my shows, selling out faster. Thanks to Royals, I got more people watching Pushpa Valli, which is always the best thing to happen, right? Like, so I think love and hate is going. People are going to hate you. In fact, female comics will tell you across the board that we almost only get hate. In fact, the moment we start getting hate on our reels, we're like, oh, it's going viral. Because सब लोग अच्छा कह रहे हैं, we're like, नहीं, अब तक viral नहीं हुआ है. जैसे ही एक hate comment आता है, we're like, viral. It's hit. Someone's angry that we opened our mouth. So it's okay. I think this is the price that we have to pay. Of course, trolling is something that can really get to you and it really can upset your equilibrium. So as much as you can, you have to tackle it. I understand, but I think love and hate is honestly part of the game now.
Does your mother watch everything that you create?
Not at all. Never. First of all, my mother doesn't understand half the things I do, so I'm really lucky. The only show that she's truly got invested in was Pushpavalli. And I'll tell you, my best compliment was from her because for the longest time she didn't know, and unfortunately or fortunately, that is the show that she found out that I was doing it. I was doing comedy and stand up and all of this, and she watched the show and she forgot that I'm in it. She spoke to me like an audience member where she's like, now what will happen to that girl? That girl is so stupid. She keeps chasing that boy. She needs one slap. One slap will happen. No, she'll be fine. And she started talking to me. It's almost like, when you gossip about your favorite character with your friend, right? That's what she was doing. I'm like, oh, that's amazing that you went past me and you look at it as a character. I was like, oh, that's a great compliment. And I know it happens, mama. Sometimes people get upset. She's like, no, no, no. This is because that mother is not loving her properly. And I'm like, oh my God. She has so many thoughts. So she doesn't watch a lot, all of it, but sometimes she enjoys. Like she enjoyed my recent, the reel that I put out yesterday to promote the show, saying that, oh, 3 reasons why you should not come for hormonal. She loved that video. Oh, she's like, oh, it was very nice. I really enjoyed it. So I was like, oh, I like your taste for sure. So she has a certain kind of content she watches. My father watches everything.
Mhm.
He
What
watches everything.
what was your mom's reaction to you dancing on the beaches of Australia?
Can I tell you, it was a really funny reaction because when she saw it, she didn't realize it's me. Then later, my father said, "Arey, it's her." Then she said, "Oh, she's so smart. She's hidden her face with the hair so that nobody knows she's wearing this Aringorema Tunigala kapda and all she's wearing. She's wearing a swimsuit. Nobody will find out because she's hidden her face with her hair." I'm like, "No, I didn't do it deliberately. There was wind in the air, mother. What are you doing?" She's like, "Illa nalada poche. Good you did because you were hiding your face. It was fun, very good. You danced with those foreign girls, very good."
How did
So
you
she was very happy because my face was hidden.
how did you convince those two foreigners to dance with you?
Please, they are first of all, MICF Melbourne International Comedy Festival was such a blast because the artists and the comedians have as much zeal and as much, or if not more, openness and frankness and a willingness to try new things. So when I told them that, listen, you guys have to dance on this Hrithik Roshan dance because we're at the beach and we can't, that's impossible. So they were like, yeah, let's do it. We are on. So they're very sports. Amy and Lil they were amazing.
So okay, like everything is like nice, fine, honky dory, but there comes a moment when we have to also there is a reality check you get when uh, comedians get into trouble and all that. What are your thoughts on that? And is there a say self-censorship that you do or something like that?
Yes, I mean, see, that's human. I don't think it's right in saying that we don't do self-censorship. We try as much as we can, but the art of stand-up is so it's so related to intuition and quick wit and just what is your impulse or what are you saying immediately? What are your improv skills? Which leads to us getting into trouble. And secondly, stand-up comedians are a voice of conflict. They will challenge. Like that's the point, right? Like you coming and telling me, Sumukhi, don't wear blue. And my as a comedian, my premise would be the reasons why I should wear blue. So that it's funny. Like there is a conflict between our thoughts. Therefore, a laughter erupts. So it is inevitable that our thoughts will not be widely accepted because we are meant to sort of challenge whatever is the norm. Sometimes people accept the norm and challenge the people who are against the norm as well. But that's the rule of the game. But self censorship is needed. I'm telling you personally, I do because I want to last for a long time. I don't wish to be here only for the next 5 to 6 years. I wish to leave a legacy behind. And if that means that I have to navigate this game accordingly, so be it.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. But do you think by and large people do understand that job of a stand-up comedy is also to comedian is also to hold up a mirror to the society?
I think so. I mean, mirror to the society. I feel like we shouldn't also fall into the trap of thinking that we are those people. I think because then it becomes, as I said before, you can't intentionally simulate a social message. If there is a social message, it will come out. I think that's how it is. And uh, no, I feel like, see, push comes to shove. Of course, the trouble goes without saying. I think live audiences completely understand. Live audiences who come understand. बट हाँ वो क्या होता है कि ऑनलाइन की बात वही है ना कि अब सबको पता चल गया है सो
Hmm.
दैट्स ऑल्सो द बोन एंड बेन अगर आप हमारे शो पे आते हो तो थोड़ा कम लगता है पीपल हु हैव साइंड अप फॉर द शो दे लाइक हमें ये शो देखना था तो हम आ रहे हैं so the trick is really when it goes online you can't predict anyone's expression. The only thing I would say is that if you're offended, okay, I don't think you should engage with the content. I'm offended with so much content that comics put out. पर मैं हर चीज के लिए भी मैं क्या बोलूं? हम लाइक ठीक है तूने बोल दिया मुझे बात नहीं मुझे तुम्हारी कंटेंट नहीं देखनी कोई बात नहीं. बट ये बोलने के लिए सब सही है. ऑफेंस तो ऑफेंस होता है.
If you are given the freedom and the liberty to create something which we really want, but like, what would you do? Like, what kind of story or show or a film that you would be your dream project?
I have too many dream projects. I would want to have a massive multi-season comedy show that I create and act in because I think I have the capacity to do it. And I think I'm not saying it out of arrogance, but I think it's going to happen for me. I know this because I've been working hard for that moment. Pushpavali was just the beginning of it. So multi-season comedy drama, which will last for a long time. I think that's definitely on my cards. And as a movie, I want to do a dance comedy. Actually, I've written a dance comedy. I know at some point I have to catch Farah Khan and be like, "Ma'am, will you do this?" Because that script, she will take it to the next level. So all I have to is I have to gather the guts and send her the script.
So recount for us, you dancing with Dino Morea in the
Oh, what a fun. That was so fun. I mean, kudos to Nupur Asthana and Rongita. And Kim Sharma. They three of them really made it happen. They were like, this has to happen. She needs to dance with Dino Moria. And I was like, I'm dancing with Dino Moria. What the hell? The spam I've sent on my friends group saying all of you are the worst. I'm the best. I have danced with Dino Moria. Bye. I mean, imagine that's and he's such a gentleman, and he was such a sport to have entertained, someone. He's an artist for a while, and to entertain a younger artist like me, and younger by I mean in terms of just existing, that's so kind of him. He treated me like an equal, so I'm so happy.